We rented the rural farmhouse for a getaway. Mountain trails, fields, quiet. It was advertised as traditional Devon charm, with acres of farmland surrounding it, perfect for a weekend off-grid. No neighbours visible, no streetlights, only endless green. First night was peaceful, but at dawn, my partner noticed muddy closed farm gates leading into thick woods. There were tracks, old tractor tyre marks, heading into the forest. They didn't match any vehicle on nearby roads. And there were no farm staff in sight. Inside the house, we found a hidden journal in the pantry. It belonged to the previous owners, siblings who lived on the farm for generations. Their last entries were chilling. We have too many gates to close. A shot rang in the orchard last night. I don't trust my brother anymore. No dates, no names. That night we heard shouting from deeper in the farm. Yelling, then gunfire. We froze. No one else was supposed to be there. When I peeked out, I saw a flicker, a torch beam illuminating an empty wheat field. We stayed indoors. The next morning, we explored the orchard behind the house. There were fresh scuff marks in the mud around an old apple barn. Inside, an old photo fixed to a beam. 3 siblings standing in front of the house. 2 were smiling. The third had a gun leaning on his shoulder. Behind them, a small grave marked only with a single name, Alan. That afternoon, I checked our car keys. They were gone. Panic hit. Suddenly, the front door locked from the outside. No signal, no one to call. We banged on windows, whistled. No one came. We found a note on the kitchen table, typed, not handwritten. We never left West Chapel. This is where it ends. Then footsteps upstairs. We forced the attic trapdoor open. Inside, it was empty. Just a dusty ladder and an old family portrait on the floor. Only one face scratched out. My girlfriend and I needed a break from the city. We booked a last-minute rental in a Yorkshire farming village, tiny place called Crooked Mile. It wasn't on Google Maps unless you zoomed way in. No cell signal, no Wi-Fi. But we liked that. The host, an older woman named Mrs. Delaney, greeted us with a jar of honey and said something strange. Mind you stay inside after dark. The roads twist wrong out here. We laughed. The cottage was small but clean. Wood stove, candlelight. No modern appliances. That night around 8 we heard a knock. We opened the door, no one was there, but something had been left on the porch. A tin lunchbox, rusted and dented with a Polaroid inside. 2 people. One was smiling. The other's eyes were scratched out. On the back it read, "Don't talk to the man in the hat." The next morning we walked to the local shop. There were only 2 workers and 1 older man sipping tea. We asked if Crooked Mile had any tourist spots, maybe a trail. The man didn't even look up. He just muttered, "If you go past the stone gate, turn back when you hear the second whistle, never the first." We tried to ask more, but the shopkeeper cut him off with a glare. We went walking anyway. The weather was beautiful. Open fields, dry stone walls, quiet. About 30 minutes out, we found the stone gate. It looked centuries old, covered in moss. Beyond it, the air felt wrong. We crossed it anyway. First whistle, soft, distant. Then a second, shrill one, much closer. We turned to leave. But there was a third. As we turned to rush back, someone was waiting behind the gate. A man wearing a long brown coat and a dark, wide-brimmed hat. He wasn't moving, just standing. Then he raised his arm and waved, not a hello, but a slow, rhythmic motion like a metronome. We ducked off the path into the brush. That's when we noticed there were others standing in the field, all facing away, all still. We ran, no path, no signal. We hid in a collapsed sheep shelter until dusk. Only when we heard a whistle again, but much fainter, almost carried by wind, did we risk moving. When we got back to the cottage, the door was open. On the kitchen table, the same Polaroid. But now we were in it. My girlfriend was smiling. My eyes were scratched out. We left that night, just drove through the fields until we hit paved roads. Back in the city, I tried to find Crooked Mile again. There's no record of it. No Airbnb listing, no shop, no Mrs. Delaney, nothing. But last week, outside my apartment in Leeds, someone left a package. Inside, another photo, me, asleep in bed. And in the corner of the image, a man wearing a hat. Some countryside roads lead nowhere. Some never existed at all. And some, they follow you home. Last August, my friend Connor and I were driving to a cabin rental in Virginia, a weekend escape from phones and work. Google Maps rerouted us last minute, a shortcut through the Appalachians, narrow roads, old bridges, almost no signs. We didn't mind until we hit a long stretch where the forest pressed too close and the road got quiet, too quiet. An hour in, low fuel warning. Then, like a miracle, we spotted an old gas station. Hand-painted sign, dusty windows, one ancient-looking pump. Inside was a man in denim overalls and a white undershirt. Didn't speak, just stared. No credit card, cash only. Connor paid while I used the bathroom. It was stained, mouldy, and there was a door in the back, slightly open. Behind it, a hallway leading down. When I came out, Connor was pale. He muttered, "Let's go now." Didn't answer why. We drove for 10 minutes before he finally said there were jars on a shelf, lined up behind the counter. Each had a Polaroid taped to it and something inside. One of the pictures looked just like you, man. I laughed. "You're messing with me." He didn't smile. We tried to retrace our path, but the GPS reset. No signal. Then a detour sign that hadn't been there before. Scenic view ahead, 4 miles. We didn't remember passing it, but it looked new, clean, almost planted. We ignored it and kept going. Another sign, bigger this time. Tourist rest stop, clean restrooms. I was the one who said, "Let's just stop quick. Maybe they have a map." It wasn't a rest stop. It was a wide gravel clearing with a wooden shack. No cars, no people, no sounds. But the shack had a front porch with a single rocking chair, rocking slowly. Connor stopped the car. "Don't get out." I ignored him. The door to the shack was open. Inside, an icebox, a folding table, a second door slightly ajar, and on the table, another Polaroid. Me, again. But this time, my eyes were closed. We floored it, didn't stop, didn't speak. Eventually, the trees broke, and we reached a highway. Back in the city, we checked the map. No record of Boyd County. No scenic rest stop along that route. The gas station didn't show up on satellite view, but a week later, Connor's cousin, who's into weird internet stuff, sent him a message. "Dude, why is your face in this Reddit thread? They're talking about missing persons and these jars." The post was titled, "The Gas Station That Shouldn't Exist, Victims or Warning," and one of the Polaroids someone uploaded had me, same shirt, same face, same closed eyes. The countryside is big, too big, big enough for whole towns to vanish, for traps to be laid, for people to be watched, catalogued, stored. So if you ever find a gas station too far from where it should be and a man who doesn't speak, keep driving and don't use the bathroom.